Well, welcome everyone. Today's workshop, we are talking about the new year 2025. And instead of, you hear the new year, new you. And I always kind of push back a little bit on that because I think, like, new year, what's wrong with the old me? 2024 me was great. So I decided to say, new year, focus on you. And so this workshop is about creating your goals and then applying those goals into your planner. Now, obviously, I'm doing the Happy Planner, and we'll talk a little bit about why that's a great system. But know that everyone plans differently. Everyone thinks, how you organize yourself might be a little bit different. So I do want to encourage you, if you have questions, if there's something you're struggling with, I'm happy to talk about it and try and figure out, like, if we can talk through the system and come up with something that will help you. Today's workshop, we did have two handouts for you, and we'll be working with the first handout. I have it so we can talk it through too. So if you want to grab some paper and a pen so you can work through our prompts together, I do have some time built in for that, just to get your creative juices going. I am still working on my New Year's plans. So my focus on me plans. So I think I'll continue to tweak those this week, and then hopefully by the end of this week, I will have solidified sort of my intentions for the year. I do have a presentation, so why don't we jump into that? I'll share my screen, and we can start with that. And if you have questions as we work along, don't hesitate to pop those into our presentation, pop those into the Q&A as we're going along. So let me just get this going. Sorry, I'm not quite sure. There we go. Okay. All right. So today's workshop, obviously, focus on you in the new year. So what does that mean? That means we're going to help work through your thought processes to sort of get your ideas going on what you want to focus on in this year, what was successful last year, what you want to focus on next year. This presentation, I do have the link in the chat, so you can always refer back to the presentation if you'd like to. Goals are dreams with deadlines. This quote really resonates with me because I always find that my dreams sort of help guide how I create my goals. And the goals are my structure for how I'm going to achieve my dreams. So that little quote sort of resonates with me. Now, when you're talking about setting goals and working with a planner, how does that help you? So one way is using a planner will help you to organize your schedule. That's what Happy Planner really does. Happy Planner helps you set goals, nurture your self-care, habit tracking. If you want to track habits, you can do all of this in your planner. You can set your intentions, reflect on your progress. By using your planner, you can kind of go back over past months. So a new year, we're starting with a blank slate, but throughout the year, you'll be filling in your monthly pages, your weekly pages, and your daily pages, depending on what setup you use. And then you're able to kind of go back and reflect on the pages. So to set our goals, we're going to reflect on 2024. And we'll assess your experiences, your personal development, sort of process your emotions on 2024. We're going to focus on you and sort of build those out. And then we will be creating an action plan that will take you into the new year. So as you get started, if you want to pull out your piece of paper and your pen, we'll give like a minute to sort of process through a little bit on last year. So think about and I like to do this with a bullet point sort of process. So with a clean piece of paper, think about what were your biggest achievements last year. And everyone's going to have different achievements. So think small think big. Something that may be a big achievement for you was maybe you ended the year with no works in progress. So you ended 2024 by completing all of your projects that you started throughout the year, and that's a huge success for you. Or maybe your biggest achievement was planning a birthday party for somebody, or going on a holiday, or getting your budget in line. So just kind of reflect on this past year and think about what were your biggest successes. And it could be more than 3, it could be 10, it could be 20, whatever kind of comes to you. So I'm just going to be quiet for just a bit and let you kind of jot that down. Okay, then once you've done got some successes jotted down, think about some of the challenges that you faced in 2024. And how did you overcome them? Maybe you didn't overcome them. Maybe they're still kind of lingering. But what was something that challenged you, that made you stretch your emotional elastic, or your social elastic, or your task elastic? What were your challenges? I'll share some of mine and be a little vulnerable here. One of my challenges was injuries. So I had some running injuries, and I'm trying to make my health a priority, because those challenges did slow me down a bit. But instead of stopping my exercise regime, I went ahead and said, okay, I'm going to be a walker. So I can't run right now. I'm going to be a walker. So I sort of had to change my mindset on that challenge. Some challenges, again, like you may have challenges with your children. I know when my daughter was little, she was learning how to read, and that was a really big challenge for her. So we really had to tackle that together and come up with a solution on how to overcome her challenges. And then I want you to think about, once you've jotted down some of your successes for 2024, some of your challenges for 2024, what is something that you learned about yourself in 2024? So did you learn that you were more resilient than you had anticipated? Did you learn that you felt things a little bit more deeply than you expected? Did you learn that maybe you were a super organizer and you were very productive in 2024 and you want to carry that into 2025? Where did you experience your growth in the year? Financial growth, job growth, family growth, relationship growth? Break it down into those different areas if you want to, and sort of like think about those different areas. And that also may help you with some of your successes. And then the fourth part to reflecting on your year is what brought you joy. Because that's really what we want to focus on, is what brought you joy in 2024. That you're going to be able to take that joy, kind of like get the ball and run with it. And as we're talking throughout the class, think about these different areas and feel free to like jot down as you go. It might take you a while to really come up and fill out the different areas that you want to work on. Sometimes what I like to do, I'm going to stop share this for 1 second. Sometimes what I like to do when I'm evaluating my year or evaluating a situation is do the spider diagram, I call it, where you put whatever your challenge was, or what your successes were, or what brought you joy. You put that word in the center of the experience, in the center of the page, and then do your diagram from there, how things kind of spider out from that one event. So while something maybe brought you joy, it may have also given you opportunities for challenges. And so that was a growth opportunity for you, or something else was a good success story, and that brought you, lots of joy from that. So that's kind of how I think about it. And if I have those on paper, I can sort of go back and add to them. So sometimes I'll post them up on a wall as I'm working my way, noodling things through. So just, kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so you're going to be working on your reflections for a while. But now that once you've reflected on last year and you kind of know what your successes were, what you want to improve on, then you can start working on your goals. So grab another sheet of paper or turn your paper over and think about some of your personal goals that you want to achieve in 2025. Maybe you had a goal from 2024 that is still lingering and you want to achieve that goal in 2025. So what is one personal goal you want to achieve for 2025? And then write out a habit that you'd like to build on or improve. Maybe your habit is you want to drink more water, or you want to exercise every day, or you want to read more books or watch more movies. Whatever habit you would like to incorporate into your life, write that down. Think about connections you want to strengthen. Are there family members maybe that you've dropped out of touch with, or friends that you've dropped out of touch with? Or do you just want to get to know somebody on a deeper level? So how do you want to build your connections in 2025? Then below that, do your skills. What kind of skill or hobby do you want to learn? I actually cleaned up my craft space and I had bought some epoxy to learn how to do epoxy stuff. And I was like, I've had this for 3 years. That is one hobby I thought I wanted to learn and I wasn't able to learn it. So it's time to let that go and put that out into the universe. But maybe that's a new hobby, or you want to learn how to play a guitar, or you want to learn a new language. Dream big, dream those big dreams, and think about like what you want to do in 2025. No idea is too small or too big. And then the fifth area for just kind of coming up with some goal setting ideas is to create a self-care activity that you want to prioritize. So, whatever you can do to take care of yourself, go ahead and jot that down. So hopefully by now your mind is just whirring and you're thinking about all the different areas of your life that you want to set goals in. And I always say, when I get to my goal setting, I jot down as much as I can. And then I sort of start to narrow it down and think like, what really is a priority? What can I realistically achieve? And where do I want to go with these goals? So if I wanted, one of my dreams is to travel. And maybe I want to travel to Spain in the next 5 years, but my Spanish maybe isn't very good. So one of my skills might be to work with Duolingo and amp up my Spanish speaking skills so that when I travel to Spain, and that may be like 5 or 6 years down the line, but one of my goals is to improve on my Spanish. So like write it all down, put it all on your papers, sticky notes, whatever you need to do, write it all down. The process of getting it from your brain into your hands as you write it out really solidifies your ideas. So writing things down, I always find is so beneficial. So this is where you're just brain dumping. And I'm sorry, I'm being so chatty, but you'll keep working. I want you to keep working on this all week. Think about like goals, what you want to achieve, what you did achieve, and just keep jotting things down. It's okay to be messy with these and just kind of do a whole brain dump if you'd like. Once you've got your goals, your brain dump sheet done, the next thing you're going to want to do is to, we are going to, I'm going to skip this. I left my elephant. So one of the things about using a planner that is so good for your brain and for your psyche, I just listed out 3 of my top hits of why I use a planner. One is my time. I can schedule events, I can set due dates, and I'm aware of what is coming up and what I have going on. Also, again, by having it in front of me written down, I'm not relying on my brain power to remember when is the doctor appointment, when is my paper due, or what do I have coming up. So the psyche of having time is really a benefit for me and why I use a planner. It also helps with my productivity. So I can stay on track with my goals, my assignments, anything I have due. I'm more efficient with my time. I find I have less distractions when I'm using my planner because I also keep a list, like a to-do list in my planner, and that helps keep me on track. I find I don't get as distracted when I have a to-do list. And the third part of using a planner is it really does help reduce your stress. If you feel overworked, overloaded, that you just can't kind of can't get out of all the tasks you have to do, using your planner will help reduce that stress. And it also will help reduce demands on your time and what you have to prioritize and achieve. So a lot of times you don't, people will ask you to do something and you have to kind of think like, well, where am I going to fit that in? You know what? Somebody asked me to do something, I could open up my planner and say, I have a block of time on Wednesday at 2 o'clock that I can put that in there and I can do things and I'm not putting too much on my plate. I don't overburden myself. And then also when you use a planner, you're setting aside time to set your goals, set your priorities, and it may be the self-care that we as caretakers often and caretaking of ourselves often miss out on. So once you've kind of spent a lot of time thinking about what goals you want to achieve, you want to take however many you want. I kind of think 10 is a lot, 5 is a medium amount, and 3 is like a good solid, I can do that. So we want to take what we want to achieve and convert those into SMART goals. I always have to pull up the acronym for SMART because like I do goal planning every year, and every year I'm like, wait, I got to remember what each one means. And what is really effective, believe it or not, I'm going to tell everyone, go use your AI to help take your ideas of what you want to achieve and convert those into SMART goals. So I wrote out everything I wanted to do, all of the things that I wanted to achieve in a year. I wrote them out, and in my own like words, I wanted to reduce my BMI. I wanted to get my house more organized or more tidy. I want to have deeper relationships with people. So I wrote those out, and then I put them in Chat GPT to help me write those out into SMART goals. And I loved how they came out. And I'm going to share with you mine, how mine came out. But I really was excited as to how it helped me narrow down and be specific about what I wanted to do. So I have this as an example. So one of my goals was to consistently post on social media. I don't post enough consistently. And so I really wanted to focus on that in 2025. So my specific goal is to post videos regularly to engage viewers and increase my subscribers. It's a measurable goal. I can post one video per week, aiming for 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours by June. So if I break it down, it's measurable. I can see what I need to do to achieve my bigger goal. Is it achievable? If I focus on creating quality content using my current resources and promoting videos on the social media, it is achievable. I can put up one video per week, even if it's a bad video, because I'm going to learn something from even a bad video. Is it a realistic goal? Can I achieve that goal? Is it attainable? So it aligns with my desire to have a better online presence. It is a realistic goal. I didn't make it, like I want to make every video trend or something like that. So it's a realistic goal. It's my effort that is going to achieve that goal. It's not reliant on anybody else to do anything, but just me putting up a video. And then I gave it a deadline to achieve this goal by June. Now, am I going to be super harsh on myself if I don't achieve that goal? Absolutely not. So we're going to if you want to, on a third sheet of paper, you can write out one of the goals that you want to achieve and then make it very specific. And if anybody wants to share in the Q&A, please feel free to do so if you want some help getting it to be specific, because losing weight, that's a great goal. But how do you make that a SMART goal? Like, what do you specifically need to do to lose weight? Do you need to improve your eating habits? Do you need to improve your exercise? Is there a medical condition that's preventing you from achieving your health goals? Like, be super specific about that goal so you know, okay, how do I measure it? So if my goal is to get more physically fit, how do I measure if I'm making improvements towards that goal? So it may be that you're going to cook dinners 5 nights a week at home. So that's a measurable goal. But can you realistically cook 5 meals at home in your given day? Like, is life busy? Do you need to plan? If that's what your goal is it achievable? Yes, it's achievable, but is that a realistic goal if you aren't home to cook dinners? Like, let's say you work a night shift, so you're not home to cook dinners. So you want to make your goal achievable, and it may be, okay, so to hit that goal of being healthy, I'm going to improve my eating habits. To improve my eating habits, I'm going to cook more meals at home, but I'm not home very much, so I need to meal prep. So your specific goal is to meal prep once a week. Is that achievable? Is that realistic? And is that timely? So kind of think about your goals as you work through them and convert them into SMART goals. The other thing I want to encourage everyone to do is give yourself one day a week. Whether I like to do it on Sunday, because that's kind of like the end of the week, the beginning of a new week, and reflect on your week. What were your accomplishments? What were your struggles? And what are you grateful for? So as you work through your reflections, will help guide you into achieving your goals. So we've got a couple questions. If I'm a student, do I need a student planner or the regular planner also? And the regular planner also. So Sonia, that's a great question. I struggle a bit with my organization. I always have, ever since I was a kid. So if I were to have multiple planners, I would not be able to keep up with multiple planners. I'm going to show you how you can add planner pages to your planners, but that's what I really like about the Happy Planner system, is because you can add other pages into your planner. So if you're a student and you're maintaining a work schedule, a class schedule, a life schedule, you can incorporate that all into a single planner if you'd like to. It's called Franken Planner, where you kind of modify your pages to meet your needs. I see the YouTube videos where, like, here's my planner stack and I have 8 planners I'm going to use, and here's my book planner, and here's my this planner. That's like way more than I personally can keep up with. I would fail. Me personally, I would fail. But if that's your jam and you're like, no, I need a specific book planner to track what books I read, what I thought about them, and that gives you passion and moves you forward, then do that. But I would recommend, if you're just getting started, you only just need one planner, and there's different layouts. So you want to find a layout that works for you, and don't be afraid to like abandon your planner mid-year. Give it a month. And if that layout's not working for you, kind of analyze it and figure out why it's not working for you, so that you can start going forward. So the reflections are really simple. Just reflect on your accomplishments, your struggles, and what you're grateful for. And just on Sunday afternoon, when you're setting up your planner for the week, those are the reflections that that I like to kind of go through. Okay. So, and if you want to start a business, like if your goal is to start a business, making, like somebody says, a question is, how do I start fabric painting kids' dresses and selling them? So you have to figure out, analyze where you are, reflect on where you are in your process. Are you like a professional artist? Do you already know how to paint on clothes? Is that a skill you need to learn? And create it into a SMART goal. So if your goal is to learn how to paint on dresses, then that's your SMART goal, and write that out as a SMART goal. Again, it's sort of like those learning how to speak a different language. If your goal is to travel somewhere, but you need to be comfortable with the language before you go, that goal comes before the dream of traveling. So sort of that's how I do it. When my kids were little and they had a big project that they had to work on, we did the Tootsie Roll system, where we get a big Tootsie Roll that has, like, like those really thick ones, and it has the different sections in it. And we'd say, okay, to eat the whole Tootsie Roll, what do you need to do in each little section? So like if there's 5 sections or 6 sections in that Tootsie Roll, what do you need to be able to eat that whole Tootsie Roll? So what was the first step? Oh, you had to write your idea of what your paper is going to be about. Then you have to get your materials and your ideas and put that together. So we would Tootsie Roll projects. So if you have a dream of owning your own business, I suggest you get a big Tootsie Roll and think about each of those segments of the Tootsie Roll as a segment to achieving your dream of owning your own business. So I'm going to go ahead and, Felicia, if you don't mind popping over, keep your questions coming. This is awesome. I've got my screen right here so I can see your questions. So we'll pop over here, and I want to talk a little bit, since we're sort of, I know we're doing our brain dumping, and how we do that. So one of the ways, what I like to do is, and I don't have my piece of paper. Do I have it? I had a piece of paper. It was really funny. We did, let me see if I have it. I don't have it here. We did a thing at the winter solstice, and my whole family, we all wrote down 13 goals, and we put them on little pieces of paper and we rolled them up, and each night we would burn one of our goals. And so at the end of the 13 nights, your last goal, the one that you put out into the universe, would manifest itself. So my last goal was to accumulate 15 intentional miles weekly by running or walking, tracked via the Strava app. So I wanted to run 15 miles a week and do it. And I wanted to track it, not just like, oh, my watch just said I did 5,000 steps cleaning up the house. I wanted to really intentionally be like, no, I'm going for a walk or I'm going for a run. And so that's how I'm going to track it. So that was the goal that lasted for me. I did have another silly goal on there, which was to stop swallowing my chewing gum, which is gross. But so fortunately, I'm glad that was not one that came up. So this is sort of like, I just kind of wrote down my top goals on this little piece of paper here, and I use my punch so that I can attach that into my happy planner. But now when you get into your happy planner, and you look at your month, so let me just pop this out. I add things into my happy planner all the time, and that's why I was suggesting that this is a really good system, because you can add pages into it. So if I'm getting 2 questions about budgeting, so I think you have to I would incorporate your budget pages into your planner. So every Wednesday, because the new year started on Wednesday, and this is going to, I think you can use these ideas with your budget, because it's kind of the same concept, right? I want to have by the end of the year, I want to go 780 miles. That's my goal. So if your budget goal is what is your budget goal? Is it to pay down a debt? Is it to save money? What is your budget goal? And then you need to establish a check-in. So is your check-in at the end of the month? Is your check-in at the beginning of the month? When do you want to check in with yourself on how you're doing with your budget? I established my mile check-in would be at the Wednesday of each week. So Wednesday for me was the start of my mile week. So by Wednesday the 8th, I need to go 765 miles. And then 750, I mean, not go 765, I'm sorry, have 765 miles left, 750, 735, and 720 out of my goal. So think about, like, is your goal for financial, is it saving money or is it paying down? And instead of 780 miles, you might have, I want to pay down $10,000 on a credit card. And then how much do you need to pay each month? I think something like that would be a monthly goal. How much do you need to pay each month to achieve that goal? And then each week, what do you need to set aside to save that goal? So you have your monthly goal, like, well, this is my annual goal, and then I've broken it down for weekly. Then when you look at my day, and we were on vacation, so I just have all my pencil here. But when I look at my days, my goal, because I got a little bit behind, is 3.5 miles today and Tuesday. So I have to, every time I look at my miles, I'm looking at what's that big goal. I broke it down into the week and into the day. To hit my 15 miles, I have to go 3.5 and 3.5. And then I start back over on Wednesday at my 3 goal mile. So do you need a separate planner to do your budget? Or can you incorporate your budget and your finance goals as a section in your planner so that each week you can have it set up? Let me see if I can find, I had a page that had like some really good, it was cute, that you can set up and just use that same spot every week to jot down your big financial goal and what you need to do each week to get to that goal. Now, this is the classic size, the vertical planner. You do also have the classic size with a horizontal planner. So your dates are just on one side, and then you have a notes page here. So it just depends on how you like to plan. I always think of, like, if you are in a class and you're taking notes, are you a bullet note taker, like a list note taker, or do you take notes in paragraphs? If you're a paragraph note taker, if you like writing left to right across the page, then I would suggest you look at the dashboard planner versus the vertical planner. This one I think is really good for bullet, if you like to do bullet points. You have that one. And then you also can do the big style planner. So they have extension packs on the big styles, and they have, set up calendars on the planners on the big style. And you can date it however you'd like to date it and put what's important to you. So however you like to start your week, you can do that right into the big planner, and it gives you a little bit more space. So that's a good way to do it. Another way, if you're trying to get better with your finances, at the beginning of the month, you might want to start a page and write out what are your bills due, and actually this is good for anything. Like if you're a student, when do you have tests? When do you have papers that are due? When do you have projects that are due? Do you have anything big coming on? And at the beginning of the month, even at the beginning of the year, you can go through and jot that down. One thing I like to do is, especially on a month, not necessarily for the whole year, but in the month, I will make, if I have something that's similar and recurs, I will kind of lay it out in my planner to be the same. So like these 4 squares here are all upcoming classes. These are all, these are kind of repetitive things, but it's something I need to remember. So if you have something that is repetitive, and there's some cute little budget stickers. So if you want to mark your paydays and then how much of your paycheck you want to save, you can do that. You can do that with like if you're trying to practice drinking more water, you can do that. Like I do like to have this bottom section is usually what I'm trying to be consistent with. And then I add in pages to my planner. So this is just a page that I created to tie into my goals. So, and it fits, each one will have a different week. So I just pop that in here. You print it, you can design your page layout in a 7-inch by 9¼ inch. And then you just print that out and you can cut it down. Let me see if I have one. I have this one. I made it a little, this one was one of my practice ones. So I got a little bit off on my sizing. But if I use Canva and I'll just create a page that is 7 inches by 9¼ inches and add my grid. And then you can just use your paper trimmer. It's my little arm here and trim this down to 7 inches. So you just trim that down 7 inches and then 9¼ inches. Like that. So you see, I was a little off on mine. It always takes me a couple prints to remind myself how to do it. And then if you have your punch that just so easily slots right in there and you can punch it down like that. Now, if you don't have something, if you don't want to print it out like that, you can get these notes pages and make your own grid and your own notes to slide in there. So you can just take a blank page and make your own little grid on there, and then that can slide into your book. And then every day you can come and look at your planner when you're like, so over the weekend, you're going to get everything set up. You're going to put your meetings you have, your projects that you have due, all of that will go right into your planner. And then you can add your habit trackers. So before I talk about my habit tracker, I do want to share with you how I'm going to put my goals into my planner. And I was trying to narrow them down, but I'm still working on it. So I took a 12 by 12 sheet of paper and I measured across the top to 7 inches and 9 inches long. And then I just cut it into, this is 9 inches by 12 inches. And then I just folded that right over. Using my hole punch, I punched the holes into the side. And then this can come into my planner, and I can just put this right here. It's a little bit smaller, I think, because I didn't do 9¼ inches. I did it 7 by 9. So it's just a little bit smaller, but that's okay. And then I have my goals. So my goals, I'm going to build into this little fold. I think I'm going to build it on that side. So ideally, I made this 5 inches by 9¼ Let's see if we can get it to cut. And why am I doing this? I'm doing this so that I have my goals at my fingertips. And when I talk about prioritizing, and I want to make sure, is the way that I'm spending my time going to help me achieve my goals? If the answer is yes, continue doing what I'm doing. If my answer is no, and this is where I get to reflect on, how I'm doing on my goals, then I need to adjust and modify my behavior so that I am achieving, my behavior is in line with my goals, which that is hard to do. I gotta tell you. So let's just do this 9 inches. like this. And you can write this out. You don't have to print it out or anything like that. You could write it out if you wanted to. I just kind of thought it would be fun to show you how you can, if you're not, like, I hear a lot of people will say, oh, I don't like my handwriting. I'm not going to put it in my own handwriting. Okay, so that's going to go like this. Now, when I put this in, yeah, I'm going to do, let's start from the beginning. So I've got another little piece of paper here, very fun. Now, as we're working on building out, this is something that you will have for the whole year. So this will be my entire year. I'll have this out for my whole year. And then I'll break it down each month and say, okay, what of my goals can I tackle this month? And I'll try and tackle some of my goals each month. Now, I may, like, one of my goals is to hit my YouTube posts every week until June, where I'm hoping that I'd have my hit my subscriber number. And if I do that, great, then I can move on to my next goal. If I don't do that, do I give up? No, I just reevaluate my goals and keep working on those goals. Now, I don't know about you guys, my planner is not always private because some people sometimes need to go in and look at my planner and grab some information out of there or something. So I wanted to keep my goals kind of private for just me. And that's why I'm creating this little pocket kind of thing to put my goals on. And every week on Sunday night, when I'm going to sit down and reflect on my week, then I'm going to pull out this page and look at this page. Okay, so this is going to go right in here like this. And I can put a picture of myself on here. I can put like a goals page or anything like that right in there. Okay, so that's going to go like that. And I just had the little rainbow just to be fun. Okay, so I saw somebody's goal was to have nicer handwriting. And I love that goal. There's a Happy Planner had a journal that was for handwriting, making your handwriting better. And it was really popular. But I think the trick is just to go slow. Take your time and also embrace your own handwriting. Don't you love seeing like your grandmother's notes or something like that? What her notes were. Okay, so my goals, I'm going to glue right into here. So let me grab my adhesive. I thought I had it right there. Sorry. I had my adhesive, but my other thing, my white. All right, so as we're talking through the class and we're kind of showing these ideas, these are just ways to add on to your book and make your goals visible to you. That's what this is. So once you've decided what your goals are, you want to, it's sort of like a vision board. And if you wanted to, your cover of this little page, you could take pictures that represent your goals, or throughout the year as you're achieving your goals, you could take a picture and add it to this page, kind of like making it a mini scrapbook. And that's the other thing why I think using a planner is super important, because it really does allow you to see where you've gone, where you've come from, what you've achieved in a very visual way. And I love that. So this is just going to tuck into the front of my book. I could put some stickers on it or something like that, but I'm just going to put it right at the very front of my book. And I know what this is. I can add to it. I can add, like I said, I could add some embellishments to it if I wanted to, but I know what my goals are. So I'll be very vulnerable with you guys and sort of talk about through my goals. So I have 11 goals, which is a lot. But some of them are things that I have put off and I just haven't eaten the frog on these things yet. So like my third one is put up a bench for my dog bury the ashes, and plan a family ceremony. So we've put that off for a number of years, but this is the year I'm like, I'm going to make this happen. Plan, plant, and harvest a garden of veggies, post videos regularly, develop consistent journaling habits, make a scrapbook for each of my children, plan date nights, experiment and document new recipes, read books, incorporate yoga, write heartfelt letters to each person monthly, and build the habit of pausing to reflect before speaking. So these, I had written out what I wanted to do, and then I put them in ChatGPT to help me make them SMART goals. So that's kind of, I want to encourage you guys, don't be afraid to use those tools that will help you. And that was one that helped me. Now, as I go into my calendar, I can see and plan what I want to get done. So, for example, write heartfelt letters to each person monthly. On my January calendar, I have letter day. So January 24th is letter day. And I've set that up to be my letter day. Now, on January 24th in my week, I will put that right here as my letter day. So I've got this to do. This is my big priority for this week. I want to write letters, and this is going to be my letter day. So I'm going to just jot down letter day. And every month I will do that. So every month I will have a letter day. And by using my planner consistently, I'll see that not only as my big monthly goals or my yearly goals here, but I will also see it on my month here. And then I'll see it again on my day here. So once I've done that, I can, give myself a little pat on the back. And once I've achieved that goal, then I will go and select a day in February, and each month select a new day to achieve that goal. So that's just a goal that is every month, to do that one little nugget of the larger goal. So that's where I put that. But sometimes your nuggets are smaller. So you may have to, that's where the habit tracker and creating a page to track your habits is helpful. Now you can use your space in here to track your habits. Maybe you only have, 5 or 6 habits that you're tracking. And so, you could put those right down here, the day across, and then use the grids to just give yourself a check mark as you're working on your habits. So I have them on a separate sheet of paper, and I have it so that I could write notes. Now, am I going to do every single habit every single day? No, because I'm not weightlifting every day, but maybe my weightlifting days are Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And my walking days are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to achieve my 15-mile goal there. I also, one of my goals was to, remember, if we come back over here, one of my goals was to experiment with and document new recipes. So that's my number 7 goal. On my weekly goal right here, I have healthy meals. So if I'm eating healthy meals every day, I'll give myself a little checkbox. And then I might, down here in my notes section or on my day, write out recipe experiment and which recipe I tried. And so that's kind of how I plan to use my checklist here. And then also it gives me a moment at the end of the week to pull this out and look at my planner and ask myself, what am I proud of? So in my goal to reduce my BMI, I want to reduce alcohol. Maybe I don't have any alcohol all week. Maybe I just have a glass of wine on Saturday or something like that. So I would just, everything else, I wouldn't have it checked off any day but here. But then at the end of the week, when I do my reflection, I might say like, wow, I'm really proud of myself. Not only did I didn't have any alcohol this week, no celebrations or anything like that. but I did drink 100 ounces of water every day consistently. So I may have that checked off. And that in my reflections would be something that I'm super proud of, that I did that. And Lisa, I would be happy. I'll include this, a link to this in the presentation, since the template has my things in there, my challenges. So somebody says, I struggled in the past with the use of paper planners. What do you see as more of a benefit using the Happy Planner more so than Outlook? That is an excellent question. And in this day and age, it's hard to justify just using a paper planner. So I actually use both. I use a Google Calendar for my family that we all share. And since I'm I'm the mom, all my stuff goes on the family calendar. And if my kids have something, I say to them, well, did you put it on the calendar? If it's not on the calendar, it's not happening. But we use a Google Calendar to share important things that we have going on. If I'm at a doctor's office and I need to make, or a hairdresser, and I need to make an appointment in the future, I put that in my Outlook calendar. But so my Outlook calendar, my Google Calendar is more for planning long term. If I have a whole, like when I know a spring break vacation's coming up, I'll put that in the Google Calendar. And then this is my paper planner, is more for the day-to-day, the everyday, the running around with your head cut off, kind of like, what do I need to get done? So sometimes I'll just take a piece of note paper and jot down my to-dos. Like if I have more to-dos than it will fit in here, I will just jot them down on here until I get everything, worked out. And I do like to have a planner, like a page like this, to keep me focused on my tasks. So what I find the difference between, say a digital calendar and a paper planner is you get the satisfaction of checking something off. So, and I know that sounds crazy, but honestly, first of all, my family knows if we're having a party or something's going on and they are trying to help me out, they know I have a to-do list. And they just go to the to-do list and go, okay, this is something I can do that would help mom out, and I can do that. So my family knows that this is how we operate. And they don't do this. My kids don't do this, but I do this. And being able to write it down, it does solidify it more in your brain than typing it in. There's lots of research on it, but writing things down, that's why writing down your gratitude is super important, because when you write it down, it solidifies it more so than just saying it out loud. Saying it out loud is better than not at all. So, you can just go like, boop, did that. I've done that task. Wow, that feels really good. I've done this task. I still need to do this task. So I will just draw an arrow and say, that's the next thing I'm working on. Sometimes I'll take like a highlighter and highlight it. If it's all in black pen, I would just highlight it like that. But if I know that I've got, if this is the next task I'm working on, I'll do that task. The other benefit for something like this is you can go through and say, okay, today is Monday morning. What do I need to get done today? I didn't get the plants watered. I don't want my plants to die. That is a number one, a priority. I didn't get the bags finished. Those still need to be sewn, but I'm just an assistant on that. So that's a C priority for me. I need to exercise. So that's an A priority. And I need to research, we were talking about finances. I need to research if there's a good budget app and come up with a money saving plan. So I'm still working on that, but all that will go into my one single planner when I do that. So that's sort of how I use my to-do list. And then if I fill it up and I need to get another one, I'll grab another one and I'll just say, okay, so today is, let's have some fun paper. Oh, you know what? Let's do a sticker. Stickers are fun. So I might just grab one of my stickers here. Now, what I did was I took a sticker book and I took all the stickers out of the book and I used these snap-in page protectors to put my stickers that are coordinating with my planner into there. So I have those all to use. And you could decorate your little page with some washi or something like that. But like, let's do our top 3 things right here. So things that I have got to get done no matter what. So today is Monday. I have got to get on the treadmill. We have snow here, so I've got to get on the treadmill. I need to cook dinner, nice healthy chicken dinner. And then I need to attend to some meeting issues. So I'll do my meeting issues here. Now, sometimes if there are smaller tasks to this bigger task, meeting issues, I would put another little issue item down here. Maybe I need to, if this one, I need to research colors. I know that is one thing for that meeting. So I just need to research colors. So then I would go through and keep adding those items. I would not necessarily move items from one day to another day. Like if I still have room on this page, I might add some tasks here or on the back side. But once this page is done, then I would remove it and store it and then put this page in its place. So let's say, so this is Monday, December 6th. And then I'm just going to go today, blah, blah, blah. I put down all my other things I need to get done. Then I'll just turn this over and I'll say Tuesday, January 7th. And I think I said December 6th on that other page, didn't I? And then I'll do my top 3 things here. Now, my top 3 things I would repeat if I did not get my task done here. I would bring that over to this day. So if my task was to run 3 miles, actually 3.5 today, and I didn't get that done, I would bring that over here, and then I would have to probably, because we're, again, snow, I would have to say treadmill 7 miles today. And give myself a little sad face that I didn't get that done. And then here I'd put an X, and here I'd put a check, or I'd put what my mile distance was here if I wasn't tracking it down here. So that's kind of how I keep my goals in front of me at all times, how I keep myself accountable at the monthly level, how I keep myself accountable at the weekly level, and then how I keep myself accountable at the day level. So, Felicia, if you want to jump back over to the main camera, I do want to share one other thing. So if that's overwhelming to you and you're like, I can't keep track of that every day, that's not something for me, then don't do that part of it. Like, do what makes sense to you and then build on from there. So if you're like, oh, okay, I can just keep track of my water intake on an app and I'm just going to track it on the app, then don't put it in your planner. Like, use your app to do that. Or at the end of the week on your reflections, you could say, hey, I did a great job. I tracked my water all week and good for me. Like, give yourself a little pat on the back. When you're adding the pages to your planner, it can get a little bit thicker. So at the end of the month, I use this, actually just cleaning this out for 2025, but I have this, it's like a card box, I think. It's intended for cards. And I put a little design on the top. It says, planning makes everything possible. And then inside, I will have my months that are used up. These are my daily or notes pages. If I have extra dividers that I'm not using, I can put those right into that section there. I have these little daily pages that I got as an expansion, and you have a month there. So you can always add a month calendar for your for a specific goal. Like if it's a reading goal and you want to just track your reading on just one calendar, you can do that and then put that in your planner. So, you know, whatever you want to do. Like there was a time when I had a separate health section. So I would put my end of the month health section items up under there. If I had something upcoming, it would go there. My list pages, my filler pages, all of that kind of helps me keep track of what I have, and keeps things organized. So my planner doesn't get to be too heavy, because if you're adding in like your pages, it can get a little bit heavy. So you just want to kind of keep it a little bit lighter. And Maria, I love your question. Do you have any advice for individuals who are paralyzed by fear of failure? I do. I guess. I mean, I don't know if I were talking to one of my kids and they said, "Oh, I'm afraid to do that because I don't know if I'm good enough or if I'll get it." You just have to eat the frog. That we were talking about that. My philosophy is I love that phrase, eat the frog. And what that means is if you tackle, like if you do your top three things that you need to do that you've either put off, because if you're putting something off that you need to get done, that's giving you stress. That is preventing you from getting a good night's sleep, because instead of sleeping, you're like sitting in bed thinking, I've got to do this, but I don't want to do it because I'm afraid I'm going to fail, or I've messed it up and I need to apologize that I didn't RSVP with alacrity. So I need to make amends there. And you're afraid to make amends because you're afraid your friend's going to be mad at you. So you don't do anything. And that to me is the paralyzing fear, where you don't do anything. So eat the frog is if you had to eat a frog every day, do it at the beginning of the day, because anything else you have to do for the rest of the day is not going to be as bad as eating that frog. So every day when I do my to-do list for the day and I review kind of like what I need to do, if I have any eat the frogs, things that are keeping me up at night, I haven't done, I haven't taken care of something, somebody's waiting on something for me and I haven't done it, that is then my top priority that day. And if I only get my 3 eat the frogs done that day, that was a great day for me, because I can go to bed and not worry about what I didn't get done. So my advice, if you are paralyzed by fear, and I understand that, I understand that. My advice is you just have to do it, because what's the worst case that could happen? You know, that's kind of how I think of it. Like if I have to send an email explaining something I did or why I didn't do something, and that gives me like that anxiety of like, oh, I don't want to do that. But the more I put it off, the more stressed I get about it and the more it affects other areas of my life. So I think, every time that you eat the frog and every time you do the hard thing, it makes it easier the next time, because you are stretching you're stretching your resilience, and you're stretching your ability to overcome that hurdle. So the more you practice that and the more you are able to overcome the hurdles, the easier it gets. So that would be my advice. It's just take one frog every day, eat that frog, do the hard thing. It's like when you're saving money or you're trying to diet or reduce your caloric intake. The more you exercise resistance to treats or to extra glass of wine or to spending money, the easier it gets, because you're stretching that muscle, and it gets easier to resist and to say no to things. So the more you do it, the more of a habit it becomes, and the easier it gets. So if you're the kind of person who says yes to everybody because you're a people pleaser, start practicing and saying, let me look at my planner and see if I've got time to do that. Grab your planner and think as you're doing it, go, do I really want to do this? Do I have time to do this? Is this a priority for me? Does this align with my goals? And then you're able to respond to that request a little bit better. So I'm going to see one more. I'm creating a time capsule for my daughter's 18th birthday next year. This session helped me identify the project and plan. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that working through this helped you kind of solidify a plan and an idea and a concept. Thank you so much for sharing. This box I did get from Michael's quite a number of years ago. It doesn't have a name on it, but it's got these little dividers so you can label them. And I use repositionable vinyl so that I can adjust that and change that out as it needs. So I can always kind of modify it as I go along. But then this just sticks in my closet and I pull it out at the end of the month, add, whatever I need to add to my planner, and then go on from there. Okay, so if you have any last questions that we didn't get to, feel free. Like, we got just a few minutes left, I think. Oh no, we're over time. Feel free to reach out to me on my social medias. It's Kesley.365, YouTube and Instagram. You can inbox me, DM me, say, hey, I took your class, I have some questions. I'm happy to help you. If you want to help get some SMART goals written down, we can do that too. And you can see and follow along my journey this year. So thanks all very much. Thank you, Felicia, for hosting us today. Hope everyone has a great warm day.